Ding.
I should do what Andrew Joseph Dupper does.
What?
He's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and
Yeah.
and he starts his videos with the same sentence every day. What's up, motherfuckers?
You know, we can't obviously start the YouTube video with like that because we can't swear within, what is it, like the first.
I think it's like the first 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want you to get delisted or anything like that.
Or what's the word? Or demonetized.
Demonetized, exactly. Which I know that's not, that's not anything new for you with Facebook. It's like, oh god.
Let's see if anybody can hear me. Anybody can comment on the live chat. It depends on when they get here.
Trust me, dude. I had my little experiences online too. So.
Where was I at?
That Mark Zuckerberg. Dude, that'd be hilarious if we freaking met him and talked to him. And
Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, we're like, dude, why do you keep demonetizing Rusty? Can't you understand that? And then you're messing with me on Facebook. Come on, dude. It's not me, it's the AI. I'm like, well then maybe you should correct your AI.
Yeah. Okay, so Egypt is rich and built. So let's go back to where we were left at.
Get back to the subject.
Let's see if anybody can hear us now. I don't know if you guys hear me.
Can you hear us?
Let's see if anybody comes in.
Hello there.
So no, I wasn't gonna really make it a part 2, but now we're gonna make this a part 2. So Egypt is rich in building and decorative stone, copper and lead ores, gold and semi-precious stones. Now these natural resources allowed the ancient Egyptians to build monuments, sculpt statues, make tools, and fashion jewelry. And embalmers would use salts from the wadi nutrient for mummification, which also provided the gypsum needed to make plaster. Wow. Okay, now we're learning something every day. Now this is what I actually like, is learning something. Now ore-bearing rock formations were found in distant inhospitable wadis in the eastern desert. I'm not sure what a wadi is. So sounds dirty, doesn't that, Wad?
What?
The word wadi, it sounds dirty, doesn't it?
Wadi.
Like wad.
Oh, a wad of, yeah.
Sounds dirty, doesn't it?
It does. That it does. That it does.
I don't even know what a wadi is. I gotta pull that off.
So do we have like an hour left of this, or like when do you want to end it?
Probably a lot longer.
Oh my god, man!
Like I said, there's a lot to cover.
Dude, you're getting really epic with this video cast.
Okay, that's what a wadi is.
What is it?
It's a river valley.
A river rally.
Valley, river valley.
Oh, river valley. I know what a valley is. Yeah, of course.
God, yeah, this is something interesting.
Yeah, dude, this is cool. This is fun. I literally feel like I'm in like a college course.
Yeah, I mean with
a dirty professor.
Yeah. And so in the eastern desert and the Sinai, requiring large state-controlled expeditions to obtain natural resources found there. Now there were extensive gold mines in Nubia, and one of the first maps is known of a gold mine in this region. What would you do if you found gold?
I've always wanted gold ever since I was like a little boy.
Yeah, but if you actually found real gold, what would you do?
I got a gold flake when I was a younger boy, but if I found real gold, well, of course, cash it in, because you got to pay rent, and see how much it's worth,
And so, the Wadi Hammamout was a notable source of granite, greywacke, whatever the fuck that is, and gold. Okay, what is greywacke? God, it sounds dirty too.
It sounds very dirty. It sounds like an old man's
masturbating
with his pubes, while masturbating while freaking shaving his pubes off. I mean, it's like, what the hell?
Okay, so here we go.
Greywacking. Okay. Oh, anyways.
Okay, greywacke is a variety of sandstone. Generally characterized by its hardness. Yeah, that sounds really fucking dirty.
Back in my day, Rusty, greywacking was.
Yeah. Okay.
Something completely different.
Okay. So now we're back on the air. Somebody says they can hear us now.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Oh, Troll's back now.
Oh, is that Steve?
Yeah.
Hello, Steve. I hope you're using protection.
Yeah, I guess you having gay sex. Okay.
I mean, you gotta these days, man. It doesn't matter who you're having sex with. You never know.
Now, flint was the first mineral that was collected and used to make tools. And flint hard hand axes are the earliest pieces of evidence of habitation in the Nile Valley. Noodles of the mineral were carefully flaked to make blades and arrowheads of moderate hardness. God, that sounds really fucking dirty. And durability even after copper was adopted for this purpose. Ancient Egyptians were among the first to use minerals such as sulfur as cosmetic substances. I don't know if I would use sulfur
Why not?
because of the smell.
Oh yeah.
Just like I can't stand the smell of skunk, but some people do.
And that's the funny thing is you don't mind marijuana, and many people say marijuana smells like skunk.
There actually is a weed that smells like skunk. It's called spice.
Yeah, to make it like
it's
confidential, secretive.
No, not just that, but if you smoke skunk weed, it gives you a faster high.
Lovely.
You get high faster off. Like you could puff on that. You can take one puff or two puffs over that.
Yeah.
And you're fucking high right after that.
Haro.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, the Egyptians worked deposits of the late Ora Galena at the Gebel Rosas to make net sinkers, plumb bobs, and small figurines. A plumb bob a plumb bob is that's not a plunger, is it?
A plunger.
No, a plumb bob.
A plumb bob. Maybe it is. It sounds like a plunger.
I guess I have to look that up. Copper was the most important metal for tool making in ancient Egypt, and was smelted in furnaces from malachite ore that was mined in the Sinai. Now, workers collected gold by washing the nuggets out of sediment in alluvial deposits, or by the more labor-intensive process of grinding and washing in gold-bearing quartzite. Iron deposits found in Upper Egypt were used in the late period, but high-quality building stones were abundant in Egypt. And the ancient Egyptians quarried limestone all along the Nile Valley, and granite from Aswan, and basalt and sandstone from the wadis of the eastern desert. Deposits of decorative stones, such as porphyry, greywack, alabaster, and carnelian, dotted in eastern desert, and they were collected even before the First Dynasty in the Ptolemaic and Roman periods. And the miners worked deposits of emeralds and wadi Sikit, and amethyst in the wadi.
Hey, have you stuck your finger yet in that funfetti? You all right?
I'll do a drink. The funfetti? No.
Damn, dude, because I really like to dip one of my pretzels in there. It looks really good. You haven't opened it up at all?
No, it's almost out.
Oh, you already freaking hate it?
Yeah, it's almost out. Here.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah.
Did you just ate it with a spoon? What
Yeah.
did you? Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you.
You just oh my. Never mind. I'll get my own. It's fine.
Yeah, like I said, you have to buy your own.
Yeah, it's okay, dude. I like to bring that to my D&D table and see what my Steve.
What they say.
Not the Steve you met, but the other Steve says. My producer.
Not the one we were talking to yesterday.
No, the other one has Asperger's. My producer, he has Asperger's, so he's very blunt. Very blunt. Very monotone.
Okay, so now we're on trade. So the ancient Egyptians engaged in trade with their foreign neighbors to obtain rare exotic goods not found in Egypt. In the pre-dynastic period, they established trade with Nubia to obtain gold and incense. God, why does it sound like incest? Okay.
I mean, some of that probably happened back then,
And the Bible did.
Yeah, very messed up, dude.
Brothers were marrying their sisters back then, and they were also fucking their fathers.
Godfather Part 3.
Yeah, but then the daughters were also fucking their fathers just so they can have kids.
Oh my.
They also established trade with Palestine, as evidenced by Palestine-style oil jugs found in the burials of the First Dynasty pharaohs. An Egyptian colony stationed in southern Canaan dates to slightly before the First Dynasty. Tel Sakan in present-day Gaza was established as an Egyptian settlement in the late fourth millennium BC, and is theorized to have been the main Egyptian colonial site in the region. Narmer had Egyptian poetry produced in Canaan and exported back to Egypt. Now, so by the Second Dynasty at latest, ancient Egyptian trade with Byblos yielded a critical source of quality timber that would not be found in Egypt alone, so it had to be shipped out. So by the Fifth Dynasty, trade with Punt provided. God, what does it sound like? Cunt. Okay. Punt rhymes with cunt.
Oh my god, dude. Man, if you were really a professor in college, you'd probably be the world's dirtiest professor, and every freaking student would love you.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, it's college.
But more than likely I'll get fired because of me being dirty.
I mean, I don't know, dude. If Johnny Depp did into that one movie, but anyways. Oh, God.
So let's see here. So trade with punt or cunt provided gold, aromatic raisins, ebony, ivory, and wild animals such as monkeys and baboons. That if there's an ebony, I prefer black. Okay. Egypt relied on trade with Anatolia for essential quantities of tin as well as supplementary supplies of copper. Both metals being necessary for the manufacture of bronze. Now, the ancient Egyptians prized the blue stone lapis lazuli, which had to be imported from the faraway Afghanistan. Now, Egypt's Mediterranean trade partners also included Greece and Crete, which provided, among other goods, supplies of olive oil. Olive oil is good for cooking.
Oh, it's also really good at Olive Garden. You've been to Olive Garden, right?
Not for a long time, but I want to go back.
Dude, that's a freaking amazing place.
That's a restaurant I would take my date to.
Dude, I might just have my birthday there, with friends, in this household. Next year, I might.
Yeah, for me, I picked up my vacation for my job yesterday, and because I don't have seniority, they wouldn't let me take my birthday off.
Oh, wow.
Because they said, oh, you don't have seniority, so you can't pick June 23rd to have your birthday off, and which is when my birthday is. And they said it's grayed out, which means you can't take it. It's given to people that have 20 to 30 years seniority first, which I think is bullshit. I mean, hell, I'd like to tell my job they can suck my dick.
Yeah.
So the Egyptian language is a northern Afro-Asiatic language closely related to the Berber and Semitic languages. It has the longest known history of any language having been written, dating back to the 3200 BC, and to the Middle Ages, and remaining as a spoken language for longer. Damn, I would love to speak Egyptian language.
What is it?
Just to learn something. I'm always wanting to learn another language.
Yeah.
Spanish. I know some Spanish, but I'm not fluent. But I wouldn't mind learning multiple other languages just so I can have a conversation if I ever go visit them.
Me llamo Rusty Van Wyck. So that me llama Rusty Van Wyck. So my name is Rusty Van Wyck. That's how you say that in Spanish. But make sure you don't say puta though, or el puta.
Okay,
I know what that means, right?
That means bitch or something like that.
Exactly. So the bitch or something. So when me llamo Michael El Puto, then I'm just calling myself Michael. My name is Michael the bitch. Me llamo, yeah, and then mucho gusto. I thought it was I like. I forgot. Yeah. Or much pleasure. I think that's what mucho gusto means.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Hola and bonjour. But anyways, that's now getting the French. So let's go. Keep going.
So the language the language of Egypt is one of the oldest spoken languages, dating back to 3200 BC. And also the phases of ancient Egyptian or Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Classical, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. So that I'm not sure what the most common one is spoken. Egyptian writings do not show dialect differences from Coptic, but it's probably spoken in regional dialects around Memphis and later Thebes. So they got a Memphis, Egypt.
Really?
Instead of a Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, they do get Memphis, Tennessee still, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So ancient Egyptian was a synthetic language, but became more analytic later on. The late Egyptian developed a prefixal, definite, and indefinite articles, which replaced the older inflectional suffixes, and there was a change from the older verb subject subject object word order to subject verb object, which I don't understand the difference of that. The Egyptian hieroglyphic heretic and the Demotic scripts were eventually replaced by the more phonetic Coptic alphabet, and Coptic is still used in the little God, what I cannot pronounce this word. Damn, liturgy. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Literacy.
No, liturgy.
Liturgy. Okay.
I think that's how you say it. It's Liturgy.
It's probably what that is. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that.
Of the Egyptian Orthodox Church, and traces of it are found in the modern Egyptian Arabic. Sounds and grammar. So ancient Egyptian has 25 consonants similar to the other Afro-Asiatic languages, and these include pharyngeal, pharyngeal, and pathetic consonants. God, I'm tongue tied. Like I said, I should be tongue tied down there, and not with the mouth.
Don't leave me tongue tied. Don't wave no goodbye. Okay, I'm done.
Voiced and voiceless stops, voiceless fricatives, and voiced and voiceless affricates. It has 3 long and 3 short vowels, which expanded in late Egyptian to about 9 inches, maybe. I don't know. God, I'm getting dirty again. Okay, the basic word in Egyptian, similar to Semitic and Berber, is a triliteral or biliteral root of consonants and semiconsonants. Suffixes are added to form words. The verb conjugation corresponds to the person. For example, the triconsonantal skeleton (SDM) is the semantic core of the word "hear," but its basic conjugation is SDM, and he hears. It's just if the subject is a noun, suffixes are not added to the verb. And so the meaning SDM HMT means the woman can hear. So you get that?
I don't quite understand. What do you mean the woman can hear?
So the letters SDM. Okay, so they don't. So the letter SDM means the man can hear.
The man came here?
That he can hear, like he can hear what we're saying.
Oh, he can hear. Okay, he didn't come on her.
No.
He came here. Okay.
So he can hear, like what they're talking about.
Okay, I thought you were trying to make it into a sexual thing. Okay.
So the spelling, so the capitalized spelling SDM, if it's capitalized in all 3, the word means hear. But if it's lowercase SDM, it means that he can hear.
Okay.
But the other spelling SDM HMT, so SDM with HMT afterward means that the woman can hear what we're saying.
Cool.
Adjectives are derived from nouns, though through a process that Egyptologists call nisbation because of its similarity with Arabic. The word order is predicate, subject, and verbal and adjectival sentences, and subject, predicate, and nominal and adverbial sentences. The subject can be moved to the beginning of sentences if it is long and followed by a resumptive pronoun. Verbs and nouns are negated by the particle n, but n is used for adverbial and adjectival sentences. Stress falls on the ultimate or the penultimate syllable, which can be open CB or closed CBC. Do you think hieroglyphic writing would be hard?
What do you mean?
To do the hieroglyphic drawings and everything.
Dude, I mean, I had to do them in 6th grade. I mean, I think anybody can frickin' do them, you know? I mean, it's...
I mean, I never personally done it, so I don't know.
Yeah, you just gotta practice, dude. It's like with anything. It's like learning another language, you know?
Okay, so we got hieroglyphic writing dates back to the year 3000 BC, and it is composed of hundreds of different symbols. A hieroglyph can represent a word, a sound, or a silent determinative, and the same symbol can serve different purposes in different contexts. Hieroglyphs are usually are a formal script used on stone monuments and in tombs that can be as detailed as individual works of art. In day-to-day writing, scribes used a cursive form of writing called hieroglyphic, which was quicker and easier, while former hieroglyphs may be read in rows or columns in either direction, though typically written from right to left. Hieroglyphic was always written from right to left, usually in horizontal rows. A new form of writing, demotic, became the prevalent writing style, and it is the form of writing along with formal hieroglyphs that accompany the Greek text on the Rosetta Stone.
I'm listening, man. I'm listening.
Now, I paused for a second because I was going to turn my camera around to show them something. So this was like the first Rosetta Stone, other than without having the CDs. The Rosetta. So there's a little tablet here that's called Rosetta Stone, dated back to 196 BC, and it enabled linguists to begin deciphering ancient Egyptian scripts.
Very cool.
And then there's another one down at the bottom where literature is, but I'll show that later in a second. Around the 1st century AD, the Coptic alphabet started to be used alongside the Demotic script, and Coptic is a modified Greek alphabet with the addition of some Demotic signs. Although formal hieroglyphs were used in a ceremonial role until the 4th century, and towards the end only a small handful of priests could still read them. As the traditional religious establishments were disbanded, knowledge of hieroglyphic writing was mostly lost. Attempts to decipher them date back to the Byzantine era and Islamic periods in Egypt, but only in the 1820s, after the discovery of the Rosetta Stone and years of research by Thomas Young and Jean-Francois Champollion, were hieroglyphs substantially deciphered.
You know what movie I think I'm going to watch after we get done with this? I think I'm going to watch Airborne. I haven't seen Airborne in a while. That's Jack Black's early roles. As I was just thinking about Jack Black and all the stuff he's been in, like Mars Attacks. Remember, man, he's in Mars Attacks and he gets obliterated in Mars Attacks,
and then he gets killed on that first I Know What You Did Last Summer movie.
Yeah, he's the freaking the Rastafarian marijuana smoking guy. Yeah, and he's like flirting with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and oh my god, dude. But yeah, he's in that movie, and guess what, dude? You know that he smokes. Like he definitely smokes marijuana.
He also gets killed. He also gets killed in that other movie because he reprised his role.
What?
Freddy vs. Jason.
What? He's not in Freddy vs. Jason.
I think someone that looks like him.
Yeah, that's not him, dude. He's not in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, but there's a guy that looks like him that was in there.
There's a guy who looks like him, and then also Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob, but that's not Jason Mewes. I think it's the guy from Detroit Rock City, that Kiss movie. Yeah, with Shannon Tweed from Gene Simmons' actual life. But dude, do you have that freaking movie?
Which one?
Detroit Rock City.
No, I never even heard of it.
Fuck, dude, that's a movie we should freaking watch. But anyways, keep going, dude. I'm getting relaxed. You're relaxing the hell out of me.
So the hieroglyphs are, and so these are hieroglyphs that are in the Louvre Museum, dating back to 1321 BC. I don't know if you can see that from here.
Dude, this is the most relaxing podcast. I think that's why you have a lot of
other than the part of we're talking dirty.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what? Tell you what, just ask me questions and I'll respond. But from now on, I'm just gonna listen. Okay?
Yeah. So writing first appeared in association with the kingship on labels and tags for items found in royal tombs. It was primarily an occupation of the scribes who worked out the institution of the House of Life. Though the latter compromised offices, libraries called the House of Books. I would love to own a library, would you?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you can learn a lot from books.
Oh, yeah.
Laboratories and observatories.
Yours would be the Kama Sutra.
Some of the best-known pieces of ancient Egyptian literature, such as the Pyramid and the Coffin text. God, why does that sound so dark? Coffin text.
Goths, get off on that, dude.
And they did have the goth kids in South Park.
Oh, dude, I know two goths. One is very active, like I talk to. Like, they're both girls. One I've known ever since elementary school. She's really cute and everything, but she's very shy. The other one is married, got married in a cemetery. I respect her marriage, but she, we do talk, from now and then. We talk about 13 Ghosts a lot, but
Oh.
she's one of the cool goths. Like she's very what do they call? She's not like the people from South Park. You know, she's a
But different kind.
yeah, she's not like down. Nope, she's more of like an upbeat, happy goth. So
So what's your opinion on emus?
emotional disturbed children. I knew one in high school, senior year, but
You know the emo that I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I knew one. I didn't really like her that much because she was too freaking weird for me. You know, I wasn't attracted to her. But if she was like freaking Avril Lavigne, dude, I would have a lot of fun with her. A lot of fun. Because Avril Lavigne is like skater emo.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I remember that song she did. He was a skater boy.
Yeah. I would have a lot of fun with that Canadian. Oh my god, dude.
There's that other song that she did. I was known for. Why do you gotta make everything so complicated?
And then Weird Al did. Why do you gotta go and make me so constipated? Yeah.
Like he makes fun of like every damn song. I love Weird Al.
Yeah, no, Weird Al's awesome.
He also made fun of a couple of Eminem songs.
Yeah, and Eminem said you could make fun of my songs, but you can't make the music video to Couch Potato, which is the parody of that 8 Mile song that he does.
The Lose Yourself.
Yeah, he would not allow him to, and then Weird Al made fun of him in an interview, you know, and Eminem just didn't care. He was just like, you know, this is Eminem, dude. He's so freaking loaded.
Yeah, he's got money. He doesn't give a shit.
Dude, he has probably more money than ICP. I bet he does.
Yeah, he probably does. And he's been rapping for over 30 years.
Yeah,
and he's still rapping.
Here's the difference between Eminem and ICP. All right, ICP, some of their stuff is good, but Eminem's music sells. You know.
Yeah.
So, all right, sorry guys if you're ICP fans, but
I don't think they really care.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you have juggalos listening to this.
I don't know if I do or not.
Okay.
So late Egyptian. I mean, there's a lot of rock there's a lot of rock members in my like in my podcast feed.
Yeah.
Like they listen to a lot of rock music.
Okay. Well, just to tell your audience, look, I don't mind ICP, all right, but I like Eminem a lot more. There's only a few songs I like of ICP, of course, because Eminem is more. You never know what the hell Eminem's going to do.
He's more controversial.
Exactly. Like you know what he did at the Super Bowl. You know, he took a knee, and everybody was like, "Why did he take a knee?" And they got pissed off. So, yeah. But you never know what he's going to rap about next. You know.
Yep.
But here's the thing too. Britney Spears actually said on what was it, TRL, Total Request Live, that he's actually a really nice guy, and he only did that. He only said that thing about Britney Spears because it's Eminem. You know. So, anyways, that's your end of the lesson. Go ahead, Rusty. Take it over.
So the late Egyptian was spoken from the New Kingdom onward and was represented in the Ramesside administrative documents. Blood poetry and tales, as well as in the Demotic and Coptic text during this period, the tradition of writing had evolved into the tomb autobiographies such as those of Harkful and Weni. Why does it sound like Wiener? Okay. Doesn't it?
What?
The word Weni, it sounds like Wiener.
Jeez, now you're just rewriting the freaking Wonder Years. Yeah, I fell in love with a girl named Wiener. Winnie! Yeah, well, I don't care who your name is. You go down on me tonight. All right.
That's about how it would work.
Oh my God, Fred Savage, dude! I'm sure Fred Savage and Ben Savage. I'm sure they were arguing about who was hotter, Topanga or freaking Winnie. I bet they were. Seriously, I'm sure.
In my opinion, even though I don't like white women,
yeah,
I would go with Topanga.
Yeah, dude, Topanga had. Oh my God, Winnie was classier than Topanga. Well, Topanga was classy, but dude, Topanga, oh my God, like I'm sure she was. Whoa, you know, I mean, I don't know if I told you, but I dated a girl that looked like Topanga. She was a doctor during after the pandemic, and I was pissed because, like, dude, I wanted to have some fun with her. I should have, but I was still living with my parents. There's different chapter of my life.
There's that one show. There's that one show my mom used to always tell me about, and I never watched it. But there was two girls that used to be on the show, Gilligan's Island.
What was it?
There was Marianne,
Ginger, and then
Marianne, and everybody was talking about who would they sleep with.
Uh-huh.
And
I'd do both of them. I mean, they would be both wild in bed.
Yeah,
Damn.
but they're older now, but back then they were considered to be hot.
Oh fuck yeah.
And but I cannot remember for the life of me what the answer that was chosen. I think it was Marianne. I think Marianne was the one that everybody picked.
I would want both of them on a freaking island. I'd tell the skipper, the professor, and the married couple to go fuck themselves. Excuse my language.
What about that one show where Brooke Shields was on the island trapped with that guy?
That's Blue Lagoon, but they were siblings, dude. So
Yeah,
I don't know about that. That's a little weird.
but they were having sex and everything.
I know, but they both die at the end of it too. It's
I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah, that's just messed up, dude. I mean, it'd be nice for them to make a porno version where they were not freaking siblings and live at the end of it. You know, that would be interesting. Actually, they did do that. What am I saying? Blue Lagoon: The Awakening, that Lifetime movie. That one Aussie girl, Indiana Evans. Yeah, dude, whoa, that was good. Denise Richards was in that. Anyways, go ahead, man.
So the genre known as Sabbat, meaning instructions, was developed to communicate teachings and guidance from famous nobles, like the Papyrus, a poem of lamentations describing natural disasters and social upheaval, is a famous example. The story of Sinui, written in Middle Egyptian, might be the classic of the Egyptian literature. Also written at this time was the Westcar Papyrus, a set of stories that was told to Khufu by his sons relating the marbles. Khufu, fuck you. Oh, sorry. Is that how it sounds? Khufu, fuck you. I'm just writing shit.
Wow, you are being incredibly disrespectful to history. I guess we both are, but then again, if Cleopatra was hearing this, I'm sure she'd be like, yeah, that was me back then. I mean, why else do you think Katy Perry was, me in that music video?
Okay, so basically a set of stories told to fuck you, I mean Khufu, by his sons relating to the marbles.
Now I'm probably going to have to watch Dark Horse, so thanks a lot, Rusty. I'm definitely watching that music video. Oh my god, she can move her body. Oh.
God, people could just shake their ass. I don't care.
She's just so, oh my god.
Relating the marbles performed by priests. Now the instruction of Amenepi, what's it song? I'm gonna take a poo. God, I'm so fucking bad.
You're really bad. You're not mad. You're bad. I mean,
I'm just fucked up in the head.
That's what it is. You're probably gonna get a call from Mad Magazine, and they're probably gonna be like, "Would you guys like a job?" And I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!" I mean, if me and Rusty can write for Mad Magazine, oh my god, dude.
I would leave this shit up to you because I wouldn't know what to write.
Well, I mean, I think we could totally both be in a room making up the craziest shit ever.
Oh yeah, we could. I'll probably say something that's more crazier than what you come up with.
I'm sure. Yeah, we could write it down and then, get paid, dude. Fuck, that'd be an awesome job.
And then it's considered a masterpiece of Near Eastern literature. Now, towards the end of the New Kingdom, the vernacular language was more often employed to write popular pieces such as the story of Weenawam. God, yeah, Wienerwam. I'm naming my wieners hanging out. God, I'm so bad. Okay. And the instruction of any.
Topanga! Oh god! All right.
Amina Green, where are you? I want you over here.
Oh god!
Give me a fucking blowjob while I'm talking about the stories.
Topanga, forget the freaking Savage brothers. Fred Savage and Ben Savage. Get over here. Danielle Fishel, I am sorry. If you're watching this, I am sorry. It's just you were so beautiful on freaking Boy Meets World. I mean, come on. So
the former tells the story of a noble who was robbed on his way to buy cedar from Lebanon and of his struggles to return to Egypt. From about 700 BC, narrative stories and instructions, such as the popular instructions of Ancestrani, as well as personal and business documents, they were written in the Demotic script and the phrase of Egyptian. But many stories written in Demotic during the Greco-Roman period were set in previous historical eras when Egypt was also an independent nation ruled by great pharaohs such as Ramesses II. So back then they didn't have cars. So what would you do to get around?
Chariots, and my lady would be right in front of me the whole freaking time, dude.
Because the only way they could get around back then was walk.
I'd take one of my wives. I'd be like, okay, your turn, and she would be right in front of me, and I'd be whipping the horses. And if anybody looked at her, I'd be like, look, I'll allow you to look, and you can pleasure yourself with her, but
you can't touch.
You cannot touch her. And if they touched her, I'd probably be like, okay, I wouldn't kill them. I would just suspend them from duties as a slave, and I'd have another. I'd basically tell them to get the hell out of here, and just set them free. That's what I would do. I would never kill them. I would just set them free,
Yeah.
and tell them, here, you could take everything you have right here to feed yourself on your journey in the desert, but you're out of here.
I was being a smartass to Angie on Monday. I walked to work Monday.
Yeah.
And Angie's like, and I took a picture and I sent it to Angie, and I'm like, Angie's like, how'd you get to work so fast? I said I rode on the broom.
I wonder if she would give me a hand job. That would be interesting.
I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna ask her. I'm just saying, I wonder how good she is, like, with giving hand jobs.
I don't know. I've never asked her that.
Yeah, no, I know she's your friend. You don't ask your friend. Rusty! Well, I've been gotten Eddie for a while. And, well, that's not true, Rusty. All right. Come on. I had to ask you.
So now we got culture.
All right, go ahead. Rusty.
So now we're talking about the culture of Egypt.
Oh, God.
So most ancient Egyptians were farmers that, like I said, that were tied to the land. Their dwellings were restricted to immediate family members, and they were constructed of mud brick designed to remain cool in the heat of the day. Each home had a kitchen with an open roof, which contained a grindstone for milling grain and a small oven for baking the bread. Ceramics served as household wares for the storage, preparation, transport, and consumption of food, drink, and raw materials. Walls were painted white and could be and they could be covered with dyed linen wall hangings. The floors were covered with reed mats, wooden stools, beds raised from the floor, and individual tapes compromised the furniture, or tables actually. So how do you think their beds were back then? Like, do you think were they like ours, or were they different?
They might have slept in hammocks. I mean, I'm sure the slaves slept in hammocks. I feel bad for them because if it rained, depending on who the pharaoh was. I mean, maybe the pharaoh had a heart and would allow them to be, freaking indoors. Like, for instance, have you seen that movie Just Visiting?
No.
So that movie Just Visiting, it was written by John Hughes. You know who John Hughes was. And it starred that one French guy. You've seen him in Godzilla, and he's famous.
Jean Reno.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
He was in Godzilla. Yeah, he's in this movie, and he plays a nobleman. Like, I think he was like a king or something, and he has a peasant.
Yeah.
And he's feeding him scraps on the floor, and you feel bad for him. He ends up getting a girl at the end of the movie, who follows him back to time or something.
Okay,
and,
but
what I'm getting at is, I would be the type of pharaoh. I don't know how you are. I'd be the type of pharaoh to be nice to the slaves.
Okay, so this is you.
So go ahead.
So I'm surprised you're not Egyptian because of this.
I'm sorry to dodge the question, but what?
So the ancient Egyptians prided themselves on good hygiene and appearance.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so I'm surprised you're not Egyptian.
Dude, I'm just, maybe I was. Maybe I should do one of those tests, those DNA tests, I don't know.
So basically back then, because they didn't have actual showers, most of them would bathe in the river.
I can tell you this, though. I don't think I've told you this, but I did have somebody in my family who was actually a gigolo. So I think that's why I am as dirty as I can be, but I try not to be since this is your show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care if you were dirty like me.
No, I know. I try to be classy because I do prefer classier women. That girl who was like Topanga that I was going out with, dude, she was a doctor, and she never told me she was a doctor. So. But anyways, go ahead.
So like I said, the ancient Egyptians prided themselves on the great value of appearance and hygiene. So most of the people would bathe in the Nile River, and they used that pasty soap that was made from animal fat and chalk. Now, men would shave their entire bodies for cleanliness. Perfumes and aromatic ointments would cover up the bad odors and soothe skin. Now, clothing was made from simple linen sheets that were bleached white, and both men and women of the upper classes would wear wigs, jewelry, and cosmetics. Children went without clothing until they reached about the age of 12. So from the time they were born until they were about 12, the children in Egypt were naked.
Oh, God.
Until they reached the age of 12, and then they start putting on clothes.
That's messed up, dude.
And at the age of 12, the males were circumcised and had their heads shaved. Mothers were responsible for taking care of the children, while the father was the one that provided the family's income. Because because the woman back then didn't work.
All I'm gonna say is I'm like Mario Lopez. I'll let you fill in the gap there. So, you know who Mario Lopez is, right?
From Saved by the Bell.
Yes, I'm like him. I'll let you figure that one out. You're very smart. So,
I don't know anything
think
about.
30. Think 30 wise. Do you know anything about Mario Lopez?
Not really. I just know him from the show Saved by the Bell.
I'm just gonna leave it to you to figure that one out.
Music. What is he circumcised?
I'm gonna let you figure that one out.
Music and dance were popular entertainments for the people that could afford them, but early instruments included flutes and harps, were instruments similar to trumpets, bows, and pipes developed later and became popular. Now, in the New Kingdom, the Egyptians played on bells, cymbals, tambourines, drums, and imported lutes and lyres from Asia. The sistrum was a rattle-like musical instrument that was especially important in religious ceremonies. I've always wondered what type of food they had over there. What type of food do you think is really big in Egypt?
Well, what they showed in Raiders of the Lost Ark was dates. So I'm guessing that was a very popular, snack item. Because remember, he almost gets poisoned.
Yeah, remember, I'm talking about if you were going to go out there for like lunch, dinner, or something like that. What do you think a big dish would be?
Well, okay, so for an entree, not a dessert or a snack, it would definitely be healthy. It would definitely be something off the land, right?
Yeah, and they might say it on here. I would have to look and see, but I just don't know. I just don't know if you had any ideas.
See, this is why I like to take a vacation. I'd like to try like what they eat, to see. I mean, if I like it. But they probably ate they might have eaten a lot of insects, dude. Because, dude, insects are pretty healthy,
I wouldn't eat them.
No, I wouldn't. But if you're hungry, it's like, what are you gonna eat? Are you gonna just eat plants? Would you be like a vegetarian?
I would eat ass.
Yeah, I know, because you'd be a pharaoh, and that's probably, I don't know how much of that you would. But dude, did you clean your pipes this morning?
What does that mean?
Did you clean your? Think about that. Did you jack off?
Yes.
Man, because you are horny as a motherfucker, man. Like, I thought I was horny during the winter time, but man, fuck.
And I already lost for no nut. Remember, I already jacked off today.
We gotta find some ass in downtown Chicago. Like, I mean, I gotta get some condoms, dude, and we gotta like check into like some hotel to get just get some ass,
I mean, I would.
I mean, God, dude, like, I'd be your wingman. I'd be like, here's Rusty, and I would take a girl, and I would just tell her, and I would sell you, and be like, this is Rusty. Rusty is blah 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 blah, blah. And then you'd have your girl, and
And then you get your own.
Yeah, dude, like fuck, because like I'm great at selling things,
Now
but anyways, that's just something that me and Rusty would do. Back to the lesson.
Okay, so the ancient Egyptians enjoyed a variety of leisure activities because they didn't have TV back then. So these leisure activities included games and music. And one of the most popular games they had was a board game called Senet.
Yeah, that's in Indiana Jones.
A board game where pieces moved according to random chance, almost like chess. And it was particularly popular from the earliest times. Another similar game was Mihan, which had a circular gaming board. Hounds and Jackals is another one, also known as 58 Holes, as another example of board games played in ancient Egypt.
58 Holes?
Yeah.
That sounds very sexual.
It does.
My God.
I'd love to have 5 of my fingers in a one girl's asshole.
I'm sure you would. My God, you give her a car wash.
Yeah. Or I could have it in her pussy too, 5 fingers in there.
Whatever suits your fancy.
Or go fist deep.
God, I'd hate to see you in the medieval times. Oh my God. As you as a king in the medieval times. Oh my God.
I'll be fucking dirty as hell.
I'm just wondering what you do to the gestures that would piss you off. Like, would you have them sentenced to death?
Yes.
I mean, good God, dude.
I would have them decapitated.
Jesus. Okay. Oh, I digress.
I'm just fucked up in the head, I know. Okay. So, the first complete set of this game was discovered from a Theban tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh Amenemhet the ninth, that dates to the or actually 4. Sorry, I'm spacing out. That dates to the 13th dynasty. Juggling and ball games were popular with children. Oh yes, come over here and juggle my balls for me.
Oh Lord, heaven help us. Jesus. You and your medieval fantasy. Oh my god. Probably got the whole new reason for S&M over there. I swear.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wrestling is also documented in a tomb at Beni Hassan.
Was it nude wrestling in Egyptian times?
Yep. Two guys, the boys would wrestle each other, and it was a way for them to get into military tactics.
Jesus.
And
women wrestle each other.
I could not, like for me, if I was born back in this time, I could not wrestle with somebody's dick swinging in my face.
I only want to see two women wrestle each other, and then I'd be like, okay, enough of that. Let's have some fun, you know.
Yep.
But wow. Okay, go ahead.
Now the wealthy members of ancient Egypt, of the ancient Egyptian society, enjoyed hunting, fishing, and boating. Yeah, I'm not really big on boating, but I would do hunting and fishing.
What time is it?
2:56.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost 3. We got a couple more things up here, I think, but let me see. The excavation of the workers' villages of Deir el Medina has resulted in one of the most thoroughly documented accounts of community life in the ancient world, which spans almost 400 years. But there is no comparable sites in which the organization, social interactions, and working and living conditions of a community have been studied in such detail. You know what I would want to do?
What?
Every time I go somewhere, do a live stream and ask them about the history, just so I can be more detailed.
Yeah. No, I think you'd be good in a museum, you know, and then the only problem is if you were in a museum, as long as you kept this quiet, because you want people finding out you have a podcast like this where you're talking about all the drinks.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you'd have two different types of Rusty. You have the clean Rusty, and then you have the completely dirty Rusty, which is the natural Rusty.
Okay, so here we go. Cuisine. That's the food. Egyptian cuisine remained remarkably stable over the time.
Yeah.
Indeed, the cuisine of modern Egypt retains some striking similarities to the cuisine of the ancients.
A lot of veggies.
The staple diet consisted of bread and beer, supplemented with vegetables such as onions and garlic, and fruits such as dates and figs. So yeah, you were right about the dates.
God, yeah, no, that's what they show in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And wine and meat were enjoyed by all on feast days, while the upper classes indulged on more regular basis.
Yeah.
Fish, meat, and fowl could be salted or dried, and could be cooked in stews or roasted on a grill. The architecture of ancient Egypt includes some of the most famous structures in the world: the Great Pyramids of Giza, which I would love to see, and the Temples of Thebes, which I'd also love to see. I'd love to see the Great Pyramids and the temples. Would you like to see both?
Dude, I would love to go to Egypt with on a date. Number one, there is a girl. I'm not gonna name any names. But oh my god, dude, like she could totally be like Angelina Jolie. She went over there. What?
You're talking about somebody from before.
Yeah. I'm just gonna finish my thought here. All right, and then give it back to you. But dude, this chick. I mean, she had a body, and I talked to her brother. I'm actually good friends with her brother, but I respect her because, you know, Italian family. Oh my god, dude! Like, I want to the things I would do to her, in freaking Egypt. I'm gonna leave it at that because you're supposed to be the dirty one, not me.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm just asking. I'm like, you would like to see the temples and the pyramids?
I would, yeah, but with a girl, absolutely, like you, dude. I mean, that's like a vacation, and if we did a double date, absolutely, you know, we'd be separate rooms. I don't want to hear what you're doing in your room. If I heard it, I would go out with her, you know, and have fun with her.
Yeah.
So, but God, this is getting so freaking dirty.
I know, right?
God.
Yeah, I just love being dirty.
How many people are watching this?
I don't know. It keeps fluctuating.
Like what? Like what's it now?
It keeps going from 0 to like 20.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Dude, nice. Okay. Again, guys, sorry for my language. This is just getting very college-like, but go ahead, Rusty.
So building projects were organized and funded by the state for religious and commemorative purposes, but also to reinforce the wide-ranging power of the pharaoh. Now, the ancient Egyptians were skilled builders, using only simple but effective tools and sighting instruments. Architects could build the large stone structures with great accuracy and precision that is still envied to this day. Now, the domestic dwellings of the elite and ordinary Egyptians alike were constructed from perishable materials such as mud, bricks, and wood, and they did not survive. Peasants lived in simple homes, while the palaces of the elite and the pharaoh were more elaborate structures. A few surviving New Kingdom palaces, such as those in Malkalda and Armana, show richly decorated walls and floors with scenes of people, birds, water pools, deities, and geometric designs. Important structures such as temples and tombs that were intended to last forever were constructed of stone instead of mud bricks, and the architectural elements used in the world's first large-scale stone building, Dejozer's mortuary complex, include post and lintel supports of the papyrus and lotus motif. The earliest preserved ancient Egyptian temples, such as those at Giza, consist of single enclosed halls with roof slabs supported by columns. In the New Kingdom, architectures added the pylon, the open courtyard, and the enclosed apostole hall to the front of the temple sanctuary, a style that was standard unit until the Greco-Roman period. The earliest and most popular tomb architecture in the Old Kingdom was the mastaba, a flat-roofed rectangular structure of mud, brick, or stone built over an underground burial chamber. I think that's something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The step pyramid of Djoser is a series of stone mastabas that are stacked on top of each other. Pyramids were built during the Old and Middle Kingdoms, but most later rulers abandoned them in favor of less conspicuous rock-cut tombs. Now, the use of the pyramid form continued in private tomb chapels of the New Kingdom in the royal pyramids of Nubia. What's your opinion on Egyptian art?
I mean, it's cool. You know, it's different. You know, and I'd be very respectful of it. You know, because I mean, you're a visitor, and you know, they're still there. You know, the Egyptians, just their ancestors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta be respectful, dude. It's a different culture. You know, so I would respect it and leave it there. I'm not gonna get cursed.
So we got the ancient Egyptian.
Yeah.
So we got the ancient Egyptians produced art to serve functional purposes. For over 3,500 years, artists adhered to artistic forms and iconography that were developed during the Old Kingdom, following a strict set of principles that resisted foreign influence and internal change. These artistic standards, like simple lines, shapes, and flat areas of color, combined with the characteristic flat projection, of flat projection of figures with no indication of a spatial depth, created a sense of order and balance within a composition. Images and text were intimately interwoven on tomb and temple walls, and then coffins, stelae, and even statues. The Narmer palette, for example, displays figures that can also be read as hieroglyphs. And because of the rigid rules that governed its highly stylized and symbolic appearance, ancient Egyptian art served its political and religious purposes with precise and clarity.
So are we gonna get the King Tut today or no?
Probably for the next video.
Holy shit!
Okay, that'll be for next week.
It's a freaking trilogy. Holy shit! Okay.
That'll be for next week.
Yeah, damn.
Because this video is so long today.
Yeah, it is.
I might not do King Tut today. We might bring him up on an actual full video for next week.
Okay.
So ancient Egyptian artisans used stone as a medium for carving statues and fine reliefs, but they used wood as a cheap and easily carved substitute. Paints were obtained from minerals such as iron ores, red and yellow ochres, copper ores, blue and green, soot or charcoal meaning black, and limestone white. Paints could be mixed with gum arabic as a binder and pressed into cakes, which could be moistened with water when needed. Now pharaohs would use reliefs to record victories in battle, royal decrees, and religious scenes. What's your opinion on reenactments? They have reenactments.
Where reenactments where?
Like in foreign countries, you know, like they have the Civil War reenactment.
Yes, I know that.
So also Egypt and Italy would have reenactments of the gladiator battles.
I mean, if it's safe and stuff, then all right. I mean, it's all right, but you know, like you gotta do it safely, you know, because I mean, dude, it's you're using weaponry and stuff, you know, and that's my whole thing is just safety first.
Okay, so like we got common citizens. They had access to pieces of funerary art, such as Shabbatsi statues and books of the dead, which they believed would protect them in the afterlife when they die. Now, during the Middle Kingdom, wooden or clay models depicting scenes from everyday life became a popular addition to the tomb. In an attempt to duplicate the activities of the living in the afterlife, these models show laborers, houses, boats, and even military formations that are scale representatives of the ideal ancient Egyptian afterlife. Despite the homogeneity of the ancient Egyptian art, the styles of particular lines of times and places sometimes reflected changing cultural or political attitudes. After the innovation of the Hyksos in the Second Intermediate Period, the Minoan style frescoes were found in Avaris. The most striking example of a politically driven change in artistic forms comes from the Amarna period, where figures were radically altered to conform to Akhenaten's revolutionary religious ideals. This style, known as the Amarna Act, was quickly abandoned after Akhenaten's death and replaced by the traditional forms. The beliefs in the divine and the afterlife were ingrained in ancient Egyptian civilization from its inception. The pharaonic rule was based on the divine right of kings, but the Egyptian pantheon was populated by gods who had supernatural powers, and they were called on for help or protection. So, what would you decide?
What would I decide? I'm deciding right now, dude. I'm gonna call it quits. I'm tired.
I'll keep going to finish up the rest, but you're good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say bye to your audience. Hey guys, thank you so much. Get the camera on.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to me and his perverted nature. He's supposed to be the pervert, but apparently this is just turning into a college class type of thing.
Do you think they would let us teach a college class about sex?
Oh God, no! Heaven help them. Oh jeez.
Look, I got a good joke.
Is that dirty underwear right there?
Yes. I gotta wash it.
Wow. All right. We're getting off topic, but I gotta go. Anyways, guys, enjoy Rusty's lesson, and I'll be in the next one.
Yep. I know, like I said, I did not intend to make this video this long, but eventually it did.
Yeah, just we'll talk after it's over. All right.
Yep.
See you.
Now, beliefs in the divine and the afterlife were ingrained in ancient Egyptian civilization from its inception, but pharaonic rule was based on the divine rights of kings. The Egyptian pantheon was populated by gods who had supernatural powers and they were called upon for help or protection. However, the gods were not always viewed as benevolent, and Egyptians believed that they had to be appeased with offerings and prayers. The new structure of this pantheon changed continually as new deities were promoted in the hierarchy, but priests made no effort to organize the diverse and sometimes conflicting myths and stories into a coherent system. These various conceptions of divinity were not considered contradictory, but rather layers in the multiple facets of reality. Now, gods were worshipped in cult temples administered by priests acting on the king's behalf. At the center of the temple was the cult statue and a shrine. Temples were not places of public worship or congregation, and only on select feast days and celebrations was a shrine carrying the statue of the god brought out for public worship. Normally, the god's domain was sealed off from the outside world and only was accessible to temple officials, like priests. Basically, common citizens could worship private statues in their homes, and amulets offered protection against the forces of chaos. After the New Kingdom, the pharaoh's role as a spiritual and intermediary was de-emphasized as a religious custom shifted to direct worship of the gods. As a result, priests developed a system of oracles to communicate the will of the gods directly to the people. Now, here as three gods in ancient Egypt. This is Osiris, Anubis, and Horus. Right here. Now, the ancient Egyptians believed that every human being was composed of physical and spiritual parts of aspects. In addition to the body, each person had a shadow, a personality or soul, or a life force, and a name. Now, the heart Now, the heart, rather than the brain, was considered the seat of thoughts and emotions. After death, the spiritual aspects were released from the body and could move at will, but they required the physical remains or substitutes, such as a statue, as a permanent home. The ultimate goal of the deceased was to rejoin the Ka and the Ba and become one of the blessed dead, living living on as an effective one. And for example, or the effective ones. For this to happen, the deceased had to be judged to be judged worthy in a trial in which the heart was weighed against a fear or truth, feather or truth. Sorry, if the person was deemed worthy, the deceased would continue their existence on earth in spiritual form. If they were not deemed worthy, their heart was eaten by Amnit, the devourer, and they were erased from the universe altogether. That would be pretty brutal. Burial customs. Now, the ancient Egyptians maintained an elaborate set of burial customs that they believed were necessary to ensure immortality after death. These customs involved preserving the body by mummification, performing burial ceremony rites, and interring with the body goods that the deceased would use in the afterlife. Now, before the Old Kingdom, the bodies buried in desert pits were naturally preserved by dissection. The desert conditions were a boon throughout the history of ancient Egypt for burials of the poor, who could not afford the elaborate burial preparations available to the elite. Wealthier Egyptians began to bury their dead in stone tombs and use artificial mummification, which involved removing the internal organs, wrapping the body in linen, and buying it in a rectangular stone sarcophagus or wooden coffin. Beginning in the 4th dynasty, some parts were preserved separately by in candle-pick jars. Now, by the New Kingdom, the ancient Egyptians had perfected the art of mummification. The best technique took 70 days and involved removing the internal organs, removing the brain throughout the nose, and dissecting the body to a mixture of salts called natron. I'm not sure what natron exactly is, but the body was then wrapped in linen with protective amulets inserted between layers and placed in a decorated arthropod coffin. Now, mummies of the late period were also placed in painted cartonnage mummy cases. Actual preservation practices declined during the Ptolemaic and Roman eras, while greater emphasis was placed on the outer appearance of the mummy, which was decorated. Now, wealthy Egyptians were buried with larger quantities of luxury items, but all burials, regardless of social status, included goods for the deceased. Funerary texts were often included in the grave, and beginning in the New Kingdom, so were Shabbat statues that were believed to perform the manual labor for them in the afterlife. Rituals in which the deceased was magically reanimated accompanied burials. After burial, living relatives were expected to occasionally bring food to the tomb and to recite prayers on behalf of the deceased. Now, when it comes to military, military has been around for years, especially. Now, the ancient Egyptian military was responsible for defending Egypt against foreign invasion and for maintaining Egypt's domination in the ancient Near East. The military protected mining expeditions to the Sinai during the Old Kingdom and fought civil wars during the First and Second Intermediate periods. Now, the military was responsible for maintaining fortifications along important trade routes, such as those founded at the city of Buhan on the way to Nubia. Forts also were constructed to serve as military bases, such as the Fortress of Sile, which was the base of operations for expeditions to the Levant. In the New Kingdom, a series of pharaohs used the standing Egyptian army to attack and conquer Kush and parts of the Levant. Now, typical military equipment included bows and arrows, spears and round-top shields made by stretching animal skin over a wooden frame. So in the New Kingdom, the military began using chariots that had earlier been introduced for the Hyksos invaders. Weapons and armor continued to improve after the adoption of bronze. Shields were now made from solid wood with a bronze buckle. Spears were tipped with a bronze point, and the kelpish was adopted from the Asiatic soldiers. The pharaohs was usually depicted in art and literature, riding at the head of the army. It has been suggested that at least a few pharaohs, such as Sequenir Tau and his sons, did so too. However, it has also been argued that kings of this period did not personally act as frontline war leaders, fighting alongside their troops, but soldiers were recruited from the general population. But during and especially after the New Kingdom, mercenaries from Nubia, Kush, and Libya were hired to fight for Egypt. and technology, medicine, and mathematics, ancient Egypt achieved a relatively high standard of productivity and sophistication. Now, traditional imperial excuse me, traditional empiricism is evidenced by the Edwin Smith and Ebers papyrus 1600 BC is first credited to Egypt. The Egyptians created their own alphabet and decimal system. Now, when it comes to faience and glass, even before the Old Kingdom, the ancient Egyptians had developed a glass material known as faience, which they treated as a type of artificial semi-precious stone, and you can see that here. Now, faience is a non-clay ceramic tool made of silica, small amounts of lime and soda, and a colorant, typically copper. The material was used to make beads, tiles, figurines, and small wares. Several methods can be used to create faience, but typically production involves application of the powder materials in the form of paste over a clay core, which was then fired by a related technique. The ancient Egyptians produced pigment known as Egyptian blue, also called blue grit, which is produced by fusing or sintering silica, copper, lime, and an alkali such as natron. The product can be used can be ground up and used as a pigment. The ancient Egyptians could fabricate a wide variety of objects from glass with great skill, but it is not clear whether they developed the process independently. It is also unclear whether they made their own raw glass or merely imported pre-made ingots, which they melted and finished. However, they did have technical expertise in making objects as well as adding trace elements to control the color of the finished glass. A range of colors can be produced, including yellow, red, green, blue, purple, and white, and the glass can be made either transparent or opaque. Now, medicine. The medicinal problems of the ancient Egyptians stemmed directly from their environment. Living and working close to the Nile brought hazards from malaria and debilitating schistosomiasis, parasites which caused liver and intestinal damage. Dangerous wildlife such as crocodiles and hippos were also a common threat. The lifelong labors of farming and building put stress on the spine and joints, and traumatic injuries from construction and warfare all took a significant toll on your body. The grit and sand from stone grind flour abraded the teeth, leaving them susceptible to access to though caries were also rare. Now, the diets of the wealthy were rich in sugar, which promoted periodontal disease and diabetes. Despite the flattening physics for trade on walls, the overweight mummies of many of the upper class show the effects of a life of overindulgence. Adult life expectancy was about 35 for men and 30 for women, but reaching adulthood was difficult as about 1/3 of the population died in infancy. Ancient Egyptian physicians were renowned in the ancient Near East for their healing skills, and some such as Imhotep remained famous long after their death. Herodotus remarked that there was a high degree of specialization among Egyptian physicians, with some treating only the head or the stomach, while others were eye doctors and dentists. Now, training of physicians took place at the Perak, or House of Life institution, but most notably those headquartered in Per Basset during the New Kingdom and Abydos and Sayus in the late period. Medical papyri show empirical knowledge of the anatomy, injuries, and practical treatments. Now, wounds were treated by bandaging with raw meat, white linen, sutures, net pads, and swabs soaked with honey to prevent infection, while opium, thyme, and belladonna were used to relieve pain. Now, the earliest records of burn treatments describe burn dressings that used the milk from the mothers or the male babies. The prayers were made to the goddess Isis, but moldy bread, honey, and copper salts were also used to prevent infection from dirt and burns. Garlic and onions were used regularly to promote good health, and they were thought to relieve asthma symptoms. And the ancient Egyptian surgeons stitched wounds, set broken bones, and amputated diseased limbs, but they recognized that some injuries were so serious that they could only make the patient comfortable until death occurred. The early Egyptians knew how to assemble planks of wood into a ship hull, and they had mastered advanced forms of shipbuilding as early as the year 3000 BC. Which is, like I said before, Christ, and AD is after death. The Archaeological Institute of America reports that the oldest plank ships are known as the Ibos boats. A group of 14 discovered ships in Ibados were constructed of wooden planks sewn together, discovered by Egyptologist David O'Connor of New York University. Woven straps were found to have been used to lash the planks together, and reeds or grass stuffed between the planks helped to seal the seams. Because the ships were all buried together and near a mortuary belonging to Pharaoh Kasawami, where originally they were all thought to have belonged to him, but one of the 14 ships dates to 3000 BC, and the associated pottery jars buried with the vessels also suggest earlier dating. The ship dating to 3000 BC was 75 feet long, and is now thought to have perhaps been the longest. Is now thought to perhaps have belonged to an earlier pharaoh, perhaps one as early as Horah. The early Egyptians also knew how to assemble planks of wood with tree nails to fasten them together, using pitch for caulking the seams. The Khufu ship, or also the Faku ship, a 43.6 meter ship, 143 feet long, vessel sealed into a pit in the Giza pyramid complex at the foot of the Great Pyramid of Giza. In the 4th dynasty around 2500 BC, it's a full-size surviving example that may have filled the symbolic function of the solar bark. Early Egyptians also knew how to fasten the planks of the ship together with mortise and tenon joints. Now, large sea-going ships were also known to have been heavily used by the Egyptians in their trade with the city-states of the eastern Mediterranean, especially Byblos, on the coast of modern-day Lebanon, and in several expeditions down to the Red Sea to the land of Punt, meaning or also Kunt. So, in fact, one of the earliest Egyptian words for a sea-going ship is a Byblos ship, which originally defined a class of Egyptian seagoing ships used on the Byblos run. However, by the end of the Old Kingdom, the term had come to include large seagoing ships, whatever their decision. In 1977, an ancient north-south canal was discovered, extending from Lake Timsal to the Bala Lakes. It was dated to the Middle Kingdom of Egypt by extrapolating dates of ancient sites constructed along the couple. Along its course. So in 2011, archaeologists from Italy, the United States, and Egypt excavated a dried up lagoon known as Mersa Gawis, unearthed traces of an ancient harbor that once launched early voyages such as Hatshepsut's Punt or Kunt expedition on the open ocean. Some of the site's most evocative evidence for of the ancient Egyptian seafaring prowess include large ship timbers and hundreds of feet of ropes made from papyrus coiled in huge bundles. In 2013, a team of Franco-Egyptian archaeologists discovered what is believed to be the world's oldest port, dating back about 4,500 years from the time of King Khufu on the Red Sea coast near Wadi El Jarf, about 110 miles south of Suez. The earliest attested examples of mathematical calculations date to the pre-dynastic Naqada period and show a fully developed numeral system. The importance of mathematics is to an educated Egyptian is suggested by a New Kingdom fictional letter in which the letter proposes a scholarly competition between himself and another scribe regarding everyday calculation tasks such as accounting of land, labor, and grain. Texts such as the Rhind mathematical papyrus and the Moscow mathematical papyrus show that the ancient Egyptians could perform the 4 basic mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, use fractions, and calculate the areas of rectangles, triangles, and circles, and compute the volumes of boxes, columns, and pyramids, and they understood basic concepts of algebra and geometry, and could solve systems of equations. I could not solve that shit for my life. Now, mathematical notation was a decimal and based on hieroglyphic signs for each power of 10 up to 1 million. Each of these could be written as many times as necessary to add up to the desired number, so to write the number 80 or 800. The symbol for 10 or 100 was written 80 times respectively. And because their methods of calculation cannot handle most fractions with a number greater than 1, they had to write fractions as a sum of several fractions. For example, they resolved the fraction 2/5 into the sum of 1/3, 1/15. Standard tables of values facilitated this, but some common fractions, however, were written with a special glyph. The equivalent of the modern 2/3 is shown on the right. If you see that here. Like I said, I cannot figure that shit out for my life. The ancient Egyptian mathematicians knew the Pythagorean theorem as an empirical formula. They were aware, for example, that the triangle had a right angle opposite the hypnotus when its side was a 3:4:5 ratio. They were able to estimate the area of a circle by subtracting 1/9 from its diameter and squaring the result as this. A reasonable approximation for the formula TT2. So that's that. Population. According to Egypt, it's estimated the size of the population ranged between 1 million to 1.5 million in the third millennium BC to possibly 2.3 million by the first millennium BC before growing significantly towards the end of that millennium. Now, historical scholarships has generally regarded the peopling of the Egyptian Nile Valley from archaeological and biological data to be the result of interaction between coastal northern Africans, Neolithic Saharans, Nilotic hunters, and riverine Nubians with some influence and migration from the Levant. In 2025, the UNESCO International Scientific Committee members were drafting the General History of Africa volumes to IX and XI reached the view that Egypt had African and Eurasian populations, with Upper Egypt now repositioned as the origin of pharaonic unification, with close archaeological, genetic, linguistic, and biological anthropological affinities identified between the Upper Egyptian populations and sub-Saharan groups. So when it comes to the genetic history of ancient Egypt, it remains a developing field, and it is relevant for the understanding of population demographic events connecting Africa and Eurasia. To date, the amount of genome-wide DNA analysis on ancient specimens from Egypt and Sudan remains scarce, although studies on the uniparental haplogroups and ancient individuals have been carried out for several times, pointing broadly to affinities with other African and Eurasian groups. Now, the legacy of Egypt is also pretty popular too. So the culture and monuments of ancient Egypt have left a lasting legacy in the world for years. Egyptian civilization specifically influenced the Kingdom of Kush and Meroe, with both adopting Egyptian religions and architectural norms. Hundreds of pyramids, 6 to 30 meters high, were built in Egypt and Sudan, as well as using Egyptian writing as the basis of the Meroitic script. Meroitic is the oldest written language in Africa, other than Egyptian, and it was used from the 2nd century BC until the early 5th century. And you can see these things here. On the left is a preserved temple for Horus, and then over here is the front piece of description of the Egypt, published in 38 volumes between 1809 and 1829. Now, the cult of the goddess Isis, for example, became popular in the Roman Empire as obelisks and other relics were transported back to Rome. The Romans also imported building materials from Egypt to erect Egyptian-style structures. Early historians such as Herodotus, Strabo, and Diodorus Siculus studied and wrote about the land, which Romans came to view as a place of mystery. Now, during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, Egyptian pagan culture was in decline after the rise of Christianity and later Islam. But an interest in Egyptian antiquity continued the writings of medieval scholars such as Dulnan al-Misri and al-Maghzi. In the 17th and 18th century, European travelers and tourists brought back antiquities and wrote stories of their journeys, leading to a wave of Egyptania across Europe as evident in symbolicism as the Eye of Providence and the Great Seal of the United States. This renewed interest sent collectors to Egypt, who took, purchased, or were given many important antiquities. Napoleon arranged the first studies in Egyptology when he brought some 150 scientists and artists to study and document Egypt's natural history, which was published in the description of. In the 20th century, the Egyptian government and the archaeologists alike recognized the importance of cultural respect and integrity in excavation. Since the 2010s, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities has overseen excavations and the recovery of artifacts. Now, so that is the end of our video. I did not plan to make it this long, but this is part 2. I decided to get them both out the way today. The first one was like 3-something hours, and this one was like 1 hour and 20 minutes. So that's 4 hours and 20 minutes of me talking today. Like I said, I did not plan for this video to go long. But if you guys watched and enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe on my channel, RBW King, if you want more videos like this. If you want to check out my other channel, Rusty RBW King, you can check that out. At your own leisure, and hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back next week for another video.